Do you have your
Quick draw tape measure.
Okay.
That's falling apart.
It's you. Why are you breaking my tools?
This is
It just literally fell apart. Okay. Welcome to the shop. My name is Tavarish.
I'm Jared.
And this is Wrench Every Day. I'm really excited because this car is finally getting it's gonna die. This car is gonna die, and we are gonna kill it. Now,
It's already dead.
It's not really dead.
We're harvesting its organs.
This is gonna get a little bit weird, but for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, this is a 2008 Lexus IS-F, and it just looks like a regular Lexus from here, but from up there, it's a totally different story. So right here is what makes the IS-F an IS-F. This is a 5-liter, naturally aspirated, 400 and something. How many horsepower?
Factory's what, 421, but they can tune to 450 crank very easily.
Okay, so this is essentially a very high horsepower engine, high compression, and it's mated to a very good 8-speed automatic gearbox. And it also has a really, it's a Lexus, so it's gonna have some stuff. It's gonna have some nice things and stuff and junk. But the idea of this car was to take it from this sort of dilapidated mess, because it did get hit on this side and it did split right here. And we're going to transplant everything in this car as far as drivetrain and brakes and maybe some suspension components, who knows.
No, just the brakes. The SC,
just the brakes, nothing else. We can
and the drivetrain.
Okay.
No suspension. The SC has a good rear end, good suspension. We just need to improve its brakes and power.
And probably the interior.
Maybe the interior.
Absolutely the interior.
Listen, there was hundreds of people that wanted to buy your seats that we said we weren't selling.
I'm not selling anything on this car. But we are going to put this in my Lexus SC, which is over there. You can see the hood up a little bit right there. So in this episode, we are going to measure and see if this can actually fit, because that's exactly what you should do when you buy a car, right? Yeah. You just you buy it first and then see if things will fit.
We have hammers, welders. We'll make it fit. You can get it in.
And I know what you're saying. Oh, it just needs some bumpers and whatever. No, it needs the frame pulled here. It needs some welding work. It definitely needs a paint job, because somebody just went crazy with the touch-up paint here. I don't know why you would do this. This looks like they tried to paint it with brake fluid. This has been vandalized and scratched, and also it had what is it?
Mud dauber. Mud dauber.
Mud dauber.
Yeah, mud daubers.
Is that are those? Is that an elf?
Yeah, they're the elves. Give them a sock and they'll leave you alone.
Okay. Well, then they're just free and they can do whatever they want.
But they'll be nice to you because you freed them.
Okay. That was a Harry Potter reference. Now, if you go inside, everything is as stock as can be. Now, the interior on a Lexus, on any Lexus actually, really isn't good. That's
right.
That's the secret of all Lexuses. Lexuses.
Strip club. That's where you find multiple Lexuses in the strip club.
And probably a Mercedes. And
Mercedes and
maybe a Velveeta. Okay, so
Stardust.
And a what?
A Stardust. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know strippers' names.
So if we look over here, all these door panels, they always crack because Lexus uses plastics that just aren't very good. The SC300s, the 400s, the LS400s, the GSs, the ISs, they all have interiors that fall apart.
But they fixed it. They did a special warranty where you got new dashboard and door panels. So my car, at 203,000 miles, went to the dealership for $6,000 worth of door panels and dashes.
That seems like a very reliable thing to have happen.
Hey, it was free, and they don't do it. It only melts once.
It only melts once until it melts again. So if you look inside, the dashboard has this interesting kind of carbon weave that's painted silver. I do like this a lot. I like the carbon F Sport. Is this stock?
That is not stock.
Okay, so it has a F Sport shifter that is not stock. It has a stock steering wheel with non-blown airbag. The dash and all that is good. The infotainment is good. And honestly, the rest of the interior is totally fine. I might put these seats in the SC, but to be honest, I think the seats could use a little bit more bolstering.
They're not terrible. They try to skirt the line of sporty and bolster and comfortable, and it's
a little bit more on the comfort side, isn't it?
Yeah, you end up not doing either of those things well. Either be a sport seat or be a comfortable seat. You end up with mush if you try to go in the middle.
With mush. So this seat is mush. Now, this car does run and drive, and I think we should probably put it on the lift to see what's wrong with it, and then we can start measuring to see if this will actually fit in the Lexus SC.
Yeah. Let's take a look underneath. We haven't done that yet.
Which you should definitely do when you buy a car. I literally never do that. Ever. And we have no cooling system, so time is of the essence. It says to check the sonar. Not sure we have those sensors. So if you guys ever get the chance to get a Jared of your own, I suggest getting one because all you have to do is move the car and then he just sets everything up and you press a button and the car's in the air. So...
Wow. So it goes in and runs down the length of the door. What were they doing?
Well, I can tell you what they weren't doing, and that was being careful.
I mean, look at the wheel.
Oh, not the wheel. I'm gonna...
There. Now it looks better. See?
Well, we have an open differential here.
Yes. The early ones had a E-diff, meaning it pulsed the ABS grab with the brake to stop spinning. 2010s would get a torsion differential, which if you spun the wheel, it would act like an open differential as well, because they have to have load on both wheels. And that's why they're not ideal for road course use, because you can lift a rear wheel on this chassis and then you lose all your power because it's no longer on the ground.
Oh, okay, good.
This is a real nice muffler delete.
What was that?
That's a real nice muffler delete there. Some booger welds, a little piece of pipe sticking straight out, and
that's what you call a performance exhaust, my friend.
You're only using your lower of your quad tips, though. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, but the tips aren't real, though.
They have purpose. This is your Venturi scoop. This is designed to catch air and extract exhaust gas.
Jared, stop it.
But just because you can't accept
the
Japanese
are
that smart?
This is a fake scoop, a Venturi scoop.
Look, that's legitimately what the point of this is.
For what? For what exactly?
At speed, it creates a Venturi and evacuates exhaust gases and creates a low pressure zone and pulls the back of the car down.
You're such a liar.
Do your research, and all the ISF people will confirm. This is
ISF people will confirm because they bought a car with fake scoops. Yes,
like all modern cars come with now anyway. But
that's not true.
This is an aerodynamic function.
No, it's not. No, it
is 100%.
It absolutely.
Do we need to call up Dr. Google?
You can call up Dr. Whoever you want. That is not a functional anything.
It is 100% functional, but you can be wrong.
And you can lie.
That's the truth, but you're okay.
So, we also have some exhaust modification here.
Yeah, one resonator is removed here, but they left pancake Y pipe. And technically, those two individual exits are less volume than the factory mufflers, so they made it loud but reduced horsepower by doing that. So,
well, maybe exhaust velocity and your Venturi effect just makes it just a complete. No. This is basically a turbo at this point.
No, because they kind of negated the Venturi by angles. You got to do math.
Right.
You still have cats here and here, which. ISF cats sell for usually $1,300 for the fronts and $600 here. So that's the headers.
Yeah,
that's nice. We have a transpan leak, not a big deal. That's just reseal.
Yeah.
If we were using the suspension, one of the big problems with the IS chassis is they destroy front tires from toe wear, and what happens is this whole suspension arm moves a ton. This bushing is very weak, and you can see it's cracked a ton. So there's a couple options that firm that up, but again, we don't need that because we're going to use, honestly, the better suspension of the SC in the front.
You just said a car that was built in 1990, well, designed in the late 80s and built in 1992 has a better suspension than this car, than the car that you own?
This is meant to be compliant more than all race car. So I have upgraded bushings that fix all of that problem, but trying to adapt all of this wouldn't be a good thing. We have a coolant valley plate leak. One of the other problems with this engine is there's a big metal piece in the middle that the silicone used tends to break down prematurely, and they had to change it. And we can see pink coolant on the top of the transmission a little bit right there, which tells us we're going to have to pull the intake manifolds and reseal that valley plate.
I mean, with everything out of the car, it's not going to be
too bad. You just have to be careful on the direct injection, injectors.
Because it has two sets. It has 8 direct injection injectors and then 8 port injection.
So you have 16 total fuel injectors for this engine. They can get stuck and break if you're not careful, and they're not cheap. So we'll try not to break those. But that's something, if you're buying an ISF, you want to have it on the lift and look in this area for any evidence of that pink residue, because that tells you that valley plate's leaking, and you're going to spend about $800-900 at a dealer.
All right.
Our steering rack, which we were hoping to potentially use, it's an electric rack. No damage from the accident. It's a little corrosion, but it's good. The mounting is fairly similar to the SC. The SC would have a band clamp, but we could potentially set that up as well, which gives us the modern steering.
And is this a full electric or a hydraulic over electric?
It is full electric. It's 100% electric driven. It has the shaft that comes in, and the motor is assisted. The computers, again, the 2012 and newer ISs have a different steering computer, which is a little bit sportier. This can have too much assist sometimes, but I don't think we'll have problems with that. Our oil cooler, which is the most vulnerable thing in this front-end collision.
Totally fine.
Oil filter housing and oil cooler assembly, totally cool. So we are in good shape.
I mean, the belts are still on there. We have the crank pulley and the harmonic dampener. We have all the pulleys that are in good shape. I believe the alternator works fine. The AC probably isn't too happy, but...
you never know. That's not undone. It could be under pressure, so it may work. That's your AC compressor. It's a water pump, and that's the other thing we'll want to do. The early 08s had water pump issues, so again, with it off of the car, it'll be really easy to change. So those are the things, if you're shopping for one, that you really need to watch for leaks on.
I don't think I'm going to be using these wheels because they don't really look right on an SC. But the brakes themselves, I'm going to not reuse the rotor. The caliper should bolt on with some brackets that I have to...
Some small adapters, because, you see your 2 mounting points. The line from the SC will work. It's the same banjo bolt size and everything. So,
or I could just get stainless steel lines just made. It's not a big deal to do that.
And then we want to look at what we could potentially do to retrofit our ABS sensors, what we can get for speed pulse, because we want to use the ISF ABS computer. And so we have the ISF traction control and ABS in that car.
So how does ABS work? For people that don't understand, like if you press on the brake really, really hard, it pulsates the brake. But how does the car know what's happening?
There's a couple styles. Some are just front wheel ABS. There's some 3-channel ABS, which is rear wheels on a single speed sensor. Every modern car pretty much is 4-channel. Each wheel has a speed sensor. This has a magnet and Hall effect sensor that there's 36 points, 100 points. There's different amounts of resolution.
It's like 36 little tangs on a wheel, and then it just reads what position the wheel's at.
And so it can detect, I've seen 15 tangs in this amount of seconds, so it knows how fast the wheel's moving. And if all of a sudden it detects you apply the brakes and the right front wheel is going faster than the left front wheel, that means most likely the left front wheel's locking. So there's a little solenoid that will start pulsing the pressure that gently releases this brake to stop the lockup.
And it's a counterintuitive thing because you think that you just want to slam on the brakes and stop the car as fast as you can, but when you slam on the brakes, you lock up the tires and then you just flat spot them, and then it essentially becomes ice. What you want is a controlled stop.
Right. So like on there's what's called threshold braking without ABS, and that's where the driver is modulating that pedal just enough, and you hear the tires screaming right on that edge.
But you have to know where that is.
It has to be perfect, and I don't care. There's race car drivers that insist their threshold braking is just as good as ABS, but it's
not on modern cars, and I
really
definitely don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, it's hard to beat modern computers and computing powder. If we're talking 1980s ABS, yes, a good driver's better than that. But modern ABS,
yeah,
the computers are going to be better than you. I'm sorry.
Do you have your
quick draw tape measure?
Okay,
that's falling apart.
Why are you breaking my tools? It just literally fell apart. Okay.
So what we'll do is frame rail to frame rail, because we know this engine can go up and down, basically, in between the frame rails. So if we know this measurement, here to here, we'll measure in there.
And then hopefully that measurement is larger than this measurement.
Or at least the same. Or within workable hammering amounts.
Let's try it out.
We are working with so much stuff in the way. It is, we are going to call it 30 and an eighth.
30 and an eighth?
30 and an eighth.
Let's say 30.
Well, because it's almost 30 and a quarter, so I'm rounding
down
to an eighth.
So let's say 30 and a half. Okay, let's do 31. Just for fitting in and moving around.
No, we'll go 30 and a quarter. So flywheel. Well, let's go to the furthest point of the engine.
Well, do you know where the firewall is?
The firewall.
If you can see where the firewall is, then that will tell us where our
roughly directly above the transmission.
Okay,
so if we go straight up from the bell housing. So again, we'll go to the furthest point forward on the engine. 29 inches.
29 inches. So we have 31. I'm calling it 31. 29, like that. And then how tall is it?
It is going to go 26 and a half.
26 and a half. All right. Let's go to the SC.
What were our numbers? I don't remember them.
31.
30 and a quarter.
31. 20, 29, and then 26 and
a half. Okay.
Hey,
look, we have a measuring device.
We do. Yeah, this looks like a 1JZ that has not been sold yet.
We had several people who wanted to buy, and we're like, okay, this works, and then I don't feel so good. So buy the engine. It's a good engine. But the 2J is roughly 1.5 inches taller, but we can measure from this. We have our length.
Yeah.
Then we just have to measure width. So we are going to go with our height, and the height of this engine at its top is 25, so 26. So that will fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will 100% fit once we add the 2J height. And our length, what did I say the other one was?
29.
29. Oh, that's 29 inches long. I thought the V8 would be a little shorter.
Nope.
But
she's a long.
That's a long V8.
That's a long girl. Okay, so let's go to the SC.
So that is 2 green check marks.
2 green check marks. Let's.
Because we're not worried about the transmission tunnel.
Not supposed to know about that.
Let us go frame rail to frame rail. There's a lot of stuff in the way here.
What if somebody just honked the horn right now? Would you be mad?
No, because the battery's dead.
Or is it? Yes, it is.
All right. So what did I say width-wise?
You said 31.
No, I didn't.
You said 30 and I don't know, some fraction.
This is challenging measurements.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. Yeah. My thumb landed there.
Okay, so it's 31.
That is 30 3/4.
Okay, so we have space on all dimensions
to put it in.
Yes, to put it in. So let's just do it. Let's just start. You're not. I mean, you can't do. It's not going to work the more you do it.
I'm gonna go home to Georgia, and then Brady starts it.
Do it again. Stop it.
It didn't work. I tried.
It does not work like that. In the next episodes on this project, we're going to be taking this car apart and then essentially junking the body. But before we do that, everything has to come out. So if you've been curious about seeing a car being completely stripped down to essentially the last bolt, then that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to take that car apart and then kind of mix them into two. I'm not sure when that's going to be coming up, but this is just going to be a lot of work.
Because we're going to do it right. It's not just a matter of put an engine and start it and have 30 error lights. Again, the goal of the car, Freddie, the reason we're not using 1J, he wanted to build the car he would now.
Yeah.
And with the resources he has now, and that is a factory SCF. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be work because, again, every button's going to work. No error lights because that's how we want to do it, not some half finagled thing. Right.
Are you? You seem angry.
I'm not angry. I'm saying I'm excited because we're going to do something amazing.
I am also excited, and I hope you guys are excited too. So until next time, this is something. What do you say? Make questionable choices.
No, you forgot. I'm Jared.
And I'm Tavarish. Make questionable choices.
Reminding you to always make questionable choices.
Make questionable choices. And buy our shirts. Link in the description below. Bye-bye.